Hey guys, just working this morning on my 1990 BMW 735i and watching classic BMW guy from Quebec's videos always inspires me to do more maintenance on this old girl. I was very fortunate to buy this thing. It had 136,000 on it. The only downside is all the people did was change the engine oil. Well, at least, thank goodness they did that. But they didn't do any other maintenance on this thing. And so watching classic BMW guy from Quebec, I can't keep up with him. I don't know what he's spending on parts, but he's putting that car back to brand new. It's pretty inspirational, but I'm just trying to do what I can do here. And I replaced my gas lines because anybody who has these 3.5 liters will know that the original ones start to crack. And the thing that was very disappointing about the BMW dealership, because this actual car had some recalls. It had a brake switch recall and a couple other things I can't quite remember. But anyways, one of the recalls was the fuel lines, because I guess they understand after 30 years that the fuel lines, the rubber parts, are all splitting. Just like anything else, it just ages out. But whenever I took it to the dealer, and I'm thinking in my mind that the dealership should be the absolute most experienced and knowledgeable on these cars. Well, they never said anything, and it was clearly labeled on the hoses that I had 6.5 mil gas lines. Well, they're supposed to be 8 mil. And I just thought the 6.5 would be fine because it's almost unnoticeable, the interior diameter, when you put them side by side. But after I changed these two and then this one up here, I started getting hesitations. Slight hesitations, either if I was really slow on the gas, no problem. But if I wanted to kind of give it a little bit, there was a slight hesitation. So classic BMW guy and a few guys on the Beamer forums were saying, well, yeah, you're not allowing the system to get enough gas. So I switched them out, and I think I'm back to normal again. So I actually put the proper hose on it. But back to my story about the BMW dealership, that I'm disappointed is that the car was in there for them to check over, and you could clearly see on the old hoses, I've got them over here, because I told them that I changed them, but I never told them too many details. But it's clear on here that this is only actually 6.35 millimeter hose. I'm just disappointed because someone there should have just looked up the size of the hose that should have been on there, and they could have called me and said, hey, you know what? That's great that you changed the hoses, but they're 6.35, which is not adequate. You need 8 mil, and then switch them out for me. Like, for their cost, it was pretty much nothing. Or you know what, I wouldn't even mind paying. But after classic BMW guy mentioned how much money this hose was, he bought, I believe he bought 3 meters. It was like $200 or something ridiculous. But still, all they would have had to say, hey, listen, we'll change it out for free. Do you mind paying for the hose? I'd be like, yeah, no problem. So I was really disappointed that the BMW dealership wouldn't pick up on it. Now, I get it. It's an older car, but if you're a dealership and you're charging top dollar for service, you would expect that. And I know I had an old German mechanic here in town. He would have picked up on that all day long because he was always beyond professional. So anyways, one of the other things that I wanted to get changed today was this vacuum hose on the fuel regulator, and I will switch this out as well eventually. It doesn't seem to be giving me any troubles, but I also want to switch this hose out because it's rock hard, but this is a special order. I gotta get a hold of the dealership, unfortunately, for that. So anyways, I wanted to switch this out because, as you can see, it's really dry rotted. So just so you guys know, before you tackle this goes down through the intake manifold. There is a little rubber kind of protector, which doesn't look like she's holding up very well. You can barely see it down there, but it pops down through the intake. And so I popped off the evaporator connection from this location here. I popped it off, took the connector off, and then I can reach my hand underneath, and that's the the vacuum hose goes right up underneath here, right where my hand is. That's where the hose ends up. So also be very careful, because my engine's been sitting here for about an hour, but it's still quite hot in here. So this is not something that you want to do whenever the engine, even after an hour. You may want to start on that like really early in the morning. But anyways, if anybody was wondering about this vacuum hose and where it goes, it's really simple. Once you kind of knock this out of the way, you can reach down through here and then you can access it. There's a little nipple that seems to come off the intake under here, and that's where the hose goes on. Anyways, guys, I hope this helped. All you guys, I love watching your videos, especially a classic BMW guy from Quebec. His videos are amazing. Cheers.